watch to see when it goes live. All right, here we are. We are live now. I am Barbara Carr with Fuse Empire, and today I am here with David Dewar. He's with Tax-Free Retirement Solutions, and he's going to give us some great information that many of us, the first time I heard some of the information Dave is going to share today, I was kicking myself because I didn't know that this was an option. And I thought, why didn't I know this? And why did nobody ever teach me this? And so it's one of those moments that it's almost so simple that you wonder why there's so few people who actually know this. And so we're lucky to have a friend like Dave who does know this, and he educates us and he helps us understand it in a way that's not confusing, which is really great considering he's in the financial industry. A lot of people, when they hear money, they cringe and they don't want to talk about money for whatever reason. But Dave makes talking about money fun and exciting because he teaches us how to keep more of our money, which who doesn't want that? So Dave and I have known each other for a couple of years, and Dave's always been a big supporter of mine in the businesses that I do, and he's a great networker, a great connector. If you don't know Dave yet, I highly recommend that you get to know him. He's just an awesome guy all around. Like I said, I've learned a lot from him, not just about money. I've even learned a little bit about politics from him, and insurance, and all kinds of other things, and health even. So Dave is a wealth of knowledge in a lot of areas, but his area of expertise that he does for a living is teaching you how to live in a tax-free situation so that you can retire with more of your money and give less of it to Uncle Sam. So Dave, welcome.
Hey, Barbara, very nice to be with you this morning.
Yeah, I'm very excited. And as anybody's watching this on Facebook or YouTube, feel free to comment below. If you know Dave and you know how awesome he is, tell us in the comments. And as we go, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask Dave, make sure you ask those in the comments because I'm watching the comments section so that I can get those questions to Dave. So Dave, let's first start with putting business aside. Tell us who Dave is as a person.
Well, I am a single man and I love reading and learning. That's how I've obtained a lot of this knowledge. And I am very active in my church. I like getting involved in things like feeding the homeless and a variety of ministries. Myself personally, about maybe 10 years ago, I got involved in the political process. And the reason why I did that is it mirrored my tax-free retirement solutions business in the financial services in the retirement industry. And I can only help people to understand ways in which they can put themselves in the tax-free bucket. But in terms of legislation and taxation, taxes are going to be going up. And that's a concern of mine for my clients. So I got involved in that process to make a difference, to make sure that people are able to keep their hard-earned dollars, but not only get the education from me through my company, but also to get involved in the process to make sure that they're not going to be stuck with a large tax bill for our unfunded liabilities. I participate in a lot of network groups. That's how I met you, Barbara. And I'm a people person. I love, getting involved and communicating with people. I've learned the new Zoom type of, lifestyle, because of the coronavirus. And then also too, is I'm very patriotic. This logo I have here of Uncle Sam, that is my company logo, and it shows Uncle Sam taking your money. And of course it's a bottomless pit going out the bottom of his hat. But also I'm very patriotic. So I actually dress like Uncle Sam here to make my point, but a lot of people had come to me and said, Dave, can you work the Memorial Day or the 4th of July parade? So here on the South Side in Oak Lawn and Palos Heights, we're not going to have it this year, but I dress like Uncle Sam and I work the parades. And I love doing that. And I always use the saying, freedom is not free, because there's people that served our country and died for our country and paid the ultimate sacrifice. So when I use this logo, there's two sides to Uncle Sam. There's the patriotic Uncle Sam, and then there's the taxation Uncle Sam. And I'm pretty much relate to both, but with my company where I'm going to talk here about going from the taxable and the tax deferred bucket to the tax-free bucket, I feel that people are a lot better steward of their finances than the government. So it's kind of a little bit about me.
I love that, Dave. All of what you do is inspirational. And I like how you've got the two sides of Uncle Sam, right? So it's not that Uncle Sam is all bad. He's really bad when it comes to our taxes, though, right? But so I
Yeah.
really like the way that you lay that out. Now, this taxable, tax deferred, and tax free, what does that mean?
Well, people are very visual, so I use the buckets. So here I have the taxable bucket, and a lot of times people put money in CDs, they put it in savings accounts, and what happens is immediately whatever interest they earn, they're taxed immediately from the government at whatever their adjusted gross income is based off of the federal tax rates. Then there's the tax deferred bucket, and most people have their money in those buckets. So if they work for a company, for instance, and they get a 401k, they have a 403b or 457. These are just different types of pension plans, whether you're a teacher, you're a public worker, you're in a corporation. What happens is they accumulate all this wealth. Then when they need the money most, so what I encourage people to do is to live in the tax-free bucket. Well, how do you do that? Well, what I explain to people, and it's an educational process I learned from some great people, and I'm teaching it to other people as well, is to say, hey, you're going to be taxed on your harvest. Why don't we see about getting you taxed? You're going to pay taxes, bottom line, but you pay taxes on the seeds, the smaller amount, and then when you accumulate all your wealth on the back end, can you legally have access to that tax-free within the IRS tax code? Absolutely. So that's what I do is I'll evaluate somebody. I'm not fee-based. I don't work that way. I work with a bunch of companies as an independent insurance, and I work life insurance and also fixed annuities. I utilize those products. And then if I am able to offer for my clients, those companies compensate. So I don't believe in charging a fee unless I'm able to help them. But then the company. So what happens is a lot of times though, 85% of people's accumulated wealth or money is in the tax deferred bucket. And they don't even realize that. And then what happens is when they need the money most, they're taxed 30 to 50%. So now they have a partnership with them and they don't realize that. So what I do is I say, hey, listen, there are strategies where we can reposition that money into the tax-free bucket. And we can do that where it's not going to be such a big tax burden on a yearly basis. So I'll do the strategic planning, put them in the tax-free bucket by utilizing the different strategies, the different companies, the different products, so they can live the tax-free life. So I use the buckets as visuals to show them you're in one of these other two buckets. Unfortunately, not a lot of people are in the tax-free bucket, and that's what I'm all about, helping people get to the tax-free bucket.
Awesome. And so what I've heard from I mean from you and a lot of the other people that I've done like investing training and stuff like that from is that a lot of the wealthy people that we see on the news and stuff, they all live in the tax-free bucket. Is that true?
Yes, and the thing is what's interesting is we don't have hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to get professional tax attorneys and accountants, right? There's people that are quote unquote middle class, maybe they're 50 to 150, 200,000. So what I do is I bring that education. Of course, I'm in business. I'm doing well, but I'm able to take that and in a sense, I'm their free advisor. I'm their free tax accountant, right? To show them, even though I'm not, but I'm able to take these philosophies, but they're not philosophies, take these concepts, bring them to life and help people. So what I'll do is what I love about this, Barbara, is I'll talk to people at every level. They can be from the cradle to the grave, even though I do with people in pre-retirement. And I'm able to say, hey, did you know IRS tax code 529? Did you know 101A? Did you know these different codes? And they're like, what are you talking about? Well, let me show you how this can help your individual situation and bucket. And they're like, well, what's it going to cost me? It isn't going to cost you anything, because I'm so sure, based off of the volume of people I talk to, I'm going to be able to help them set up a strategy and have myself stay in business, that I'm willing to share this information with you. And some people, whether they want to do business with me or not, that's fine. But I am excited to share that with them, where they feel where they're in control of their money, opposed to the government, and they're able to keep their hard-earned dollars and live in the tax-free bucket.
So, Dave, I know there's a lot of people who might be watching right now thinking, well, I'm not rich. Do I have to have a certain amount of money to even have this solution? Or if I'm just an everyday person, can I start very small?
Yes, you can. And that's a very good question. A lot of times people, what I'll utilize depending on somebody's situation is, and it depends. Like I said, it's not a one size fits all, but I would always encourage somebody to put their money in a Roth IRA. The Roth IRA has something called the 5-year rule, or 59 and a half. So you have to have it in there for at least 5 years. And then at the age of 59 and a half, whatever amount of money you make, you are able to draw on it tax free. So there might be somebody, depending on their age, whether they're young or they're getting in their later years, always put your money in that tax-free bucket. Why? You can accelerate wealth. And I'm not going to get into how I use accelerated wealth strategies, but they're very untraditional, where you can utilize real estate, you can utilize tax lien certificates and accelerate wealth. So for instance, if somebody puts in $100 a month and they're 50 and they put it in for 5 years, that's $6,000, right? It doesn't seem like a lot of money, but if they utilize different strategies that I talk about, and they're able to make, say, $500,000, right? And they're 59 and a half. If they did not put that in a Roth IRA, they're going to be paying a lot of taxes to Uncle Sam. If they put it in the tax-free bucket, every penny of that $600,000 goes in their pocket. So the thing is what I'll do is with people is I'll have them have forward wealth acceleration strategies and forward tax strategies to say, hey, I don't have a lot of money, or I'm not going to accumulate a lot of money. How do you know that? What if you do run into money and you're not able to position it into that tax-free bucket? Another strategy too is, and I'll just touch on this, is life insurance. My own personal situation is my mom, she raised 4 of us. Yeah, 4 boys. And I was the youngest. I was 8 and a half, and I had 3 older brothers, 10, 12, and 14. And a week before his 40th birthday, on June 25th, coming up next week, 1973, 47 years ago, he died of a heart attack. He had the wrong type of life insurance. He had a whole life policy where he was paying the premiums, and he only had $15,000 worth of coverage, whereas term, if he had the proper coverage at term, he would have had $150,000. So I see my mom struggle. So when I got in the industry in 1995, I take it personal because of my own situation to help people, to make sure they have enough coverage. And that's why I use this dime where I evaluated. So that's how my company started before it evolved here to the tax-free concept. But something that I educate people on that they're not aware of is now, because the industry has changed over the last 12 to 15 years, that you can utilize life insurance for living benefits, not just death benefits, living benefits. So if you get a heart attack, a stroke, cancer, or some type of physical ailment, you're able to tap into that policy to provide income while you're still alive. When you pass on as well, you're able to transfer it tax-free. And you can also utilize it as well when you fill out your federal financial aid form, which is your FAFSA form for college education, and it doesn't affect the amount of grant or loan you get from the government. So there's so many ways in which you can utilize it, and the industry has changed over the last 12 to 15 years. And that's what I talk to people about. If they want income and they say, you know what, I don't know if my pension's going to be around, right? I'm thinking I'm going to get an $80,000 pension in Illinois, but they're out of money. What if I only get half of that? And then what if half of that's tax? I can't live on $20,000. Well, I say, did you know you can utilize this as an option B to create tax-free income till the age of 100 or beyond. So these are just some of the strategies. But to answer your first question, yes, I would encourage anyone at any point to start now, regardless if they feel they don't have a lot of money, because once you get the ball rolling, what happens is when you're a client of mine, I'm able to educate you and show you concepts that you would not realize you had at your disposal to accelerate wealth strategies in the tax-free bucket.
So Dave, while I ask people if they have any questions right now, I just want to let you know that when you pointed out your dime, it kind of moved a bit, and you might want to fix the dime board. I don't know if you see that or not. It's like, but while Dave's doing that, if anyone has questions for Dave, go ahead and post them in the comment area of this video, because like I said, Dave is a wealth of knowledge. And Dave, you've been doing this, you said, since 1995, and we're in 2020. So what is that?
25 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So I've been doing, yeah. So yeah, yes, Barbara. So I've been doing it for 25 years, and just a little background about me here, just that gives me a kind of real diversified, is I did work as a real estate agent, a real estate broker, and a real estate investor. So along with being in the insurance and the financial services industry for 25 years. So what I've been able to do is evolve and combine all of these concepts with the tax-free concept. So the thing is it's important to look at your overall financial picture and then reposition yourself properly into that tax-free bucket as much as you can. So that's some of the strategies and some of my background, which gives me a pretty round idea of the industry to help people pretty much any situation in which they're in.
Well, I think that's definitely important, Dave. And I think it's also important to note that you yourself are also a business owner, which means that when you are talking to other business owners, you're not just telling them something that you learned from a book, right? You're teaching them the strategies that you yourself have implemented. And you know this knowledge because you come from the same background as them, as, starting up as an entrepreneur, building your business, and then trying to make as much money and save as much money as you can, and put it to use in the right ways. So I think all of that combined really shows your credibility and your experience, your expertise. It definitely makes you stand out from the average financial advisor.
And yeah, and what's important too is until you walk in somebody's shoes, you understand. And we have this coronavirus. As a matter of fact, I'll give kudos to Barbara. She just had a training last month, a 30-day training on giving skills to different business owners. But what's happened right now is people that are struggling, and I always say there's 4 phases to your business. You're either in survival, stability, success, or significance, right? And a lot of people, unfortunately, because of the coronavirus, they're in survival stage. And the concepts I talk about are not just for people that say, oh, well, you know what, when I get my act together and I'm stable, or I'm in somewhere between stability and success, I'll call or I'll do something. Wrong. You need to start where you're at right now. Right. So if somebody's in they're struggling and they're in survival stage, they definitely need to talk to me or Barbara for that matter. So the thing is because what you don't know won't hurt you, but it'll kill your business. Right. It's lack of knowledge. And the thing is what I love about what I do, and Barbara does the same thing, is what we do is we educate people. We realize the potential and what they can do. And now they see solutions that they otherwise would never, ever see. So I would encourage people to dig for that information. And that's something that I'm able to be a resource. And then if things work out, they eventually become and I serve them as a client in a long-term relationship.
Dave, I love what you said about what you don't know won't hurt you, but it can kill your business. That's unique. And you know what's scary about that is most times we don't know what we don't know, right? And so here we're like, it may not be hurting us because we just don't even know it exists. But in the long run, we could look back 20 or 50 years from now and be like, I wish I would have done this back then, right? And so for anybody, like Dave said, no matter what stage you're at, whether you're like, I can't even pay my bills right now, or you're like, I just came into a big I don't know, the government's giving out all kinds of money these days, it seems. Maybe the government gave you money and you want to know how to invest it or something. Dave can help you in all of those situations. So no matter what stage you're in, make sure you call Dave, connect with him. He's a great person to know. Like I said, he's got a wealth of knowledge about a lot of topics. Make sure that you do reach out to him, even if it's just to network with him, because Dave is really well connected. He connects people all the time. I cannot tell you how many people have come into my business because of Dave telling them how great I am at what I do. And so, Dave, I appreciate your support and your endorsements and stuff like that. But for everybody who you just want to be able to not be in that poverty bucket or debt anymore, or wherever you are, contact Dave and see how he can help you, because there's been lots of stages in my life that Dave has advised me through and helped me to understand why I was in a bad spot. He's given me even sometimes really small tips, like try this app to track these different spendings that you're doing. And sometimes it seems really small, but those small things can lead to really big impact. So reach out to him. And Dave, why don't you tell people the best ways that they can reach you?
Yes, so the best way to reach me is taxfreeretirementsolutions.com. And then I have David Dewar, my name, daviddewar.com, and also Dave Dewar. There's three ways to contact me. Something I will say too is, and I didn't get a chance to touch on it briefly, is there is a website I would advise everyone to go to called usdebtclock.org, and we're over $26 billion of debt in this country, and it keeps accumulating. So Uncle Sam cometh, the tax man cometh. And that my job is to warn as many people now, because really you're getting a premium rate on taxes. Because if you look at taxes since 1913, and they went up, they were as high as 90% to some people. So the thing is God forbid that happens, how are they going to pay for these municipalities, these counties, these states, for our country with the coronavirus? Right? So the thing is I encourage people to utilize me as a resource. Right now, my website, taxfreeretirementsolutions.com, David Dewar and davedewar.com, is actually going to be filled in the next couple of weeks with information, as I have. I want you guys to utilize me as a resource, because when taxes go up, the worst thing I can ever hear from somebody is say, I wish I talked to you last week, last year, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, right? That means I haven't done my job. I haven't served them. I haven't reached out to them, and I haven't been able to get a hold of them. So taxfreeretirementsolutions.com, daviddewar.com, and davedewar.com. And my contact number is 708-369-1153. That's 708-369-1153.
Okay, Dave, I have put all of your contact information into the chat so that if anybody is watching this later as a replay, they have all your information in there. And Dave, is there anything that we didn't talk about that you want to make sure that people know before we get off this call?
Yes. Yes, something I wanted to talk about too is I like to get involved, like I said, in ministries, and there's a lot of charities. There's a lot of good causes that are hurting right now, because people that otherwise were giving to these causes are trying to survive themselves. So they're not able to give their 5, their 10%. And something I talk about is by allowing and helping people to find money, because there's also something I'll do is I'll find money transfers. A lot of times people are transferring money away unknowingly and unnecessarily in all different areas. and that's my job. But the thing is by setting them up and putting them in the proper financial structure, number one, and then putting them in the tax-free bucket, by allowing them more disposable income for them and their family to reach their financial goals. It also allows them additional disposable income to give to these charities, to give to these church organizations that are struggling on their own. So I want you guys to consider that, because I take that very personal and very serious, that our job as servants, me and Barbara, is to serve you, to give you the best advice, best service, and then you're able to pass on your wealth to others. So I wanted to stress that.
I totally agree, David. Thank you for mentioning that, because we do have a job here as stewards of the world. Those of you who are watching, if you've been following me long enough, you know that I am not scared to say that I love Jesus. And one of the things I love about Dave is that he does too. And God has put us here as stewards of his world, and we are to take care of it. And even when we are struggling, there is the saying, it is better to give than to receive. And many of you who do know me know that I'm an early Christian. I'm only about 5 years into my journey, so I don't know as much as I'd like to yet, but I'm getting there. But it does bring me to, I know there's a verse in the Bible that talks about, God will replace everything you lose. So I don't know the exact verse or the exact words, so I'll have to look it up and put it in the comments here. But so even when you're hurting, find a way to give, even if it isn't monetarily. If you could give your time or your talents, right? Resources. Find a way to continue giving back to the world, even if you're struggling yourself. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching this. Please comment if you're watching this as a replay. Comment about what you learned from it. Thank Dave, obviously, because he did an awesome job educating us. And reach out to Dave. Let us know if you have any other questions in the comments, and Dave can answer those later. Dave, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Barbara, for the interview.
Have a great day.